People, this week we got questions for Omar Lagares, a director at Trash Arts Open Your Mouth.
What's life without art? Writing is a great way to examine how you think about things. I found the community through Open Your Mouth mostly. Open Your Mouth is such a community-led, community-driven spirit. You can see it month by month. The last event we had was absolutely random. There were people stood at the back, it was crowded. I've seen some incredible spoken word artists grow from first time ever performing, now being confident on stage, now actually like just vibing.
What would you say the value in expressing yourself, attending one of these events, getting on stage is?
Literally seeing that there are people around you that are willing to cheer you on. I got you, they want to hear what you have to say. You will not truly be able to appreciate the value unless you actually see it firsthand.
Omar!
Yo, how we doing, bro?
Alright, bro, how are you?
Yeah, man, doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, man. Well, yeah, thanks for being a guest on the What's Going On show.
Bro, the pleasure is mine. Like, literally, thank you for having me.
No, man, it's a pleasure. And, so a bit about the show.
Yeah.
This show aims to give sort of a platform to people doing things in communities, and obviously you're doing things, and I want to hear about it all, man.
Okay,
before we go in, got a little tradition on this show.
Okay.
Where I'd love to give you an intro.
Yeah.
But I'll give it over to you. So, in a nutshell, who is Omar?
So Omar is I tend to work with a lot of community projects. I have my own little project, which is I say my own. It's me and a group of friends. We started an organisation called Open Your Mouth. We've done we've existed. So it started as a small little open mic in like as a spoken word night in the Fat Fox. Bit by bit, like varieties of people came. Like it's so diverse. Literally, we've started in the Fat Fox back in 2015, right? And year by year, you just see the development of the variety of people that come through. It started doing spoken word, then one or two musicians came through, and then we were like, yeah, go on, we'll give you the stage. Why not? You know what I mean? Just like we've got the resources, we may as well. And I think one of my favourite realizations that this was more than a spoken word night was that back in Fat Fox, it must have been like the third or fourth night that we'd run, right? So third or fourth month in, because we run it on a monthly basis, right? It was basically this guy came through with a cajon and his mate had a guitar. He was literally sat in the crowd. So the way we run the night, it's not like sign-up sheets. We don't do sign-up sheets. Okay. As soon as the person is ready to perform, they put their hand in the air when we ask for acts. They get up on stage. You know what I'm saying? This man literally sat in the middle of the crowd. I remember it clear as daylight. We're talking like 9 years ago. And literally he was sat there in the middle of the crowd on his cajon, put his hand up. This was before I became a host for it. So this was back when Scott Jowett used to host it in the Fat Fox. Man raised his hand, got selected. He was like, you know what? Started bashing the cajon in the middle of the crowd. His mate got his guitar out. It was a vibe. Yeah, man. And just literally, so year after year, so about a year or two in, I got asked to be the host. That was when we were in the South Coast Emporium. We were there for about a year or so. Then we moved to the Loft above King's Pub. Right. We were there up until COVID. Then COVID hit and we ended up networking with the Wedgwood Rooms quite closely. We had one event there pre-COVID. And then they just really have been really supportive to us, and big up the Wedgwood Rooms. You know what I'm saying? Big up the Wedgwood Rooms. And so basically we've basically been at the Wedge ever since, and mate, the diversity. So I had this rehearsed bit, right? So we got comedians, magicians, musicians. Wait, hold on. Poets, comedians, magicians, musicians. One time we even had a guy premiere his music video in 3D, little red and blue filters on everyone's face. It's fantastic. Yeah, man, it's so diverse. I mean, I also do quite a lot of work with word of mouth. Big up to Blessed, Kids, and all the crew. You know what I'm saying? They are literally the pillar of hip hop in Portsmouth. They are absolutely fantastic. Just basically getting involved with all various projects. Also do a bit of work with you may have heard of 432 Nomads. Yeah. They do a lot of work with refugees in Portsmouth and like giving them a performance space on the platform.
Okay.
And yeah,
All right.
real good fun, man. Just
Sick.
getting involved with all the creative projects I can, man.
Sick. Sick. All right. So cool, man. That's amazing. So cool. Yeah. Take me back then. So childhood. Whereabouts did you grow up?
So I grew up actually in Maidenhead near Reading.
Okay.
It's not the one in Kent. That's Maidstone. Everyone does that.
Word.
You know, yeah, grew up in Maidenhead. Basically, was there through most of my teens. Then when I was 17, went to the States for a year. That was a trip, bro. Like going to high school when you're 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
And this was back when I looked very alternative back then. I had a long leather trench coat, long purple hair. I know it's hard to envision, right? It's hard to envision. Yeah, went there for a year. Went to high school, yellow school bus, the whole 9 yards. That was a trip and a half. Then came back, went to college in Reading, and then. So I've been having a lot of... so when I was very young, I had a lot of brain surgery.
Okay.
So when I was just short of 3 years old, I survived 3 brain hemorrhages. Because of that, I've got a condition known as hydrocephalus, also known as water on the brain. So I've got an artificial tube that drains fluid from my head to my stomach. Because my brain fluid don't drain actually like yours or say another guest you may have had who doesn't have hydrocephalus. You may have had one with hydrocephalus, I don't know. But yeah, so when I was going to college in Reading, then went to... so I didn't pass my A-levels there. I went to mature student college in Reading, in Oxford, sorry. And then came to uni down here. And yeah.
The rest was history from there,
That's
really.
my story, bro. Literally, that's how I made all the creative networks down here, and bro, it's been a ride. It's been a ride.
No, I can imagine. And I just want to dig in there. So, how do you actually pronounce that?
Hydrocephalus.
Hydrocephalus.
Yes.
So, how was it dealing through school? Or how was it going through school with?
That's the thing, bro. So from the age of 5 to the age of 16, no surgery, and that's a massive milestone. Right, 11 years I had no surgery. So for my, should we say, my formative adolescent years, like it was like I've written a lot of poetry, so I do a lot of spoken word myself, and like I rap and stuff, and so basically when I was in school and that, so I wrote some poetry about, you became like a ghost to me. Like I hadn't heard from you in 11 years. I thought your job was over. You know what I mean? Then when I turned 16, the ghost came back to bite me on the butt and was like, yeah, cool, you got to go back for an operation.
Okay, well, no, fair enough. And spoken word then, or poetry in general.
Yeah.
What made you get into that?
Funny actually, it's when I was like 11 years old, right? Well, yeah, I was year 7, so there was a writing competition at school. I don't know what it was, but like for some reason my edgy kid brain was like, love and war, write some love and war stuff. I'm like, what does your brain know about love and war? But nah, write some love and war stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, wrote this poem, got into like some like poetry, like youth poetry book, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna keep writing, and yeah, just the rest of the day is history. Yeah, just basically ended up writing loads of poetry about stuff that I could actually experience and actually be aware of what I'm talking about. And then yeah, basically after poetry came music. And I did a lot of music stuff growing up. Went to like music theory classes.
Okay.
Going back years, and yeah, basically played the guitar. I'm terrible at it because part of the surgery and stuff rendered my right hand side partially paralysed. But still can play a bit of guitar, just not very well. And yeah, basically from there, a few years back, don't suppose you remember a guy who used to run around Portsmouth, Kaxyxy?
No.
Kahuhu? Like he was really like just a vibe of a human being, right? I lived with him for a year, and we just sit in the living room and start freestyling. And I can't freestyle, right? But this man was like on a level. And then one day, we just ended up doing a show in. So basically, so the open mic I run, Open Your Mouth.
Yeah.
I was at the event in the loft, and a guy comes up to me and goes, "Omar, I really like your poetry. Would you would you put that on the Guildhall stage? I'm like, what? Like, Guildhall stage? Yes. But, hold on. If I'm doing that, I'm bringing this guy with me, right? So, KAXYXY jumped up with me and we ended up writing a whole set, like, hip-hop, like, proper rap.
Okay.
It's like, bro. From there, I've just kind of, like, developed over the years and just got more into rapping, more into hip-hopping. And although, I keep true to my, like, spoken word days because I like to just really think about the lyrics, you know what I mean? Like, have something to give the audience a takeaway. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense. It does make sense. So, touching on that a bit then, so creativity is a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Why do you think that? Why do you think creativity?
Well, two things, right? One, what's life without art? You know, what is the world without art? Like, it'd be bland, boring. But also, it's a good way to understand yourself, right? Like Socrates said, you know, the unexamined life is not worth living, and here we are, you know what I mean? And I think writing is a great way to examine how you think about things, how you envisage the world, and, you know, what your values are, how you present yourself as a person as well. I think creativity is a great way to kind of explore that.
Okay, so was that always the direction you wanted to go in the creativity realm?
I think it's developed over years, you know what I mean? Like, I think, you know, just perspectives develop over time, right? And I think, like, you end up going down a path. And for me, I mean, I always had the passion to create, but it was never like with an end goal, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, this is what I want to achieve from creating. It was just, I just want to create. I just want to make things. Just want to make poetry, make music, make whatever. Right, and through that I've also got involved with, like, trash arts as well. We've done quite a lot of film work over the years. Man's got an IMDb page now,
Nice.
IMDb, what?
No, that's big. Okay, so the only reason I bring that up especially is because years ago we originally met, and I remember you was doing criminology and law.
Yeah. Good memory. Wow,
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
So, like, what drew you to that, and what draws you to sort of law topics?
Well, law and criminology, like, for me, it's so law initially, actually. So it was because so in 2014 I had my last brain surgery since. Well, yeah, the last brain surgery I've had was in 2014. I had and this was during my A2s, right?
Okay.
My A levels. So I was like, okay, at this junction, I was in hospital for 33 days. I had a lot of time to think, bro. Like, I was literally, so I had a cerebral bleed, most pain I've ever experienced in my life. Like, they had a tube coming out the back of my head into a bag for 2 weeks.
Wow, what is a cerebral bleed? What is it?
It's a bleed to the brain.
Okay.
Literally. And basically because of that, I had a lot of time to think, and I was like, okay, look, I need to think of, so I was studying philosophy, theatre, media and law at college. Okay. And I was like, okay, look, think about which one of these could possibly present a kind of much more merit-based, more what you know as opposed to who you know, and kind of pathway, you know, just try to make a sensible decision for a career path.
Makes sense.
And I like my societally conditioned mind chose law.
Oh man, that's joke.
And then so basically after that, went to the mature student college, and I was like, okay, so, like, society is actually a lot more complicated than what we experience just from the day to day, right? I mean, obviously we may experience things but not actually understand what they mean, right? And that's why I kind of went down the criminology route, to kind of have a bit of an understanding of more of people interactions in society at large, and, like, how that kind of how that plays in the world, you know, because I just found that a really kind of big growth opportunity, you know.
Okay, no, fair enough.
That's what that was.
Fair. So cool. You've gone through mature student college.
Yeah.
How was that?
Bro, so that was a whole other world, right? So I was 20 when I started this, right? Mature student college. This place was an absolute mixing pot of various different characters. Like I genuinely feel like I could write a film on that year that I spent there. So it was a residential campus, mature students, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, like, coming back to education. there were people from all walks of life. You had people who, so there was this one guy who was an ex-London Met officer who had PTSD. There was another guy who was a recovering heroin addict who had some serious demons. Like the moment he drank, he had those demons came out, and he acted in very various ways. And yeah, that was quite a interesting year to say the least. You can imagine in a mixing pot of that nature, like the kind of stories that came out of that.
Yeah, wow. Now. So cool, mature as student, college, into uni. How did you find uni? Because a lot of people, they say, was it waste of time? Was it boring? Was it this? How was uni for you?
Right, so uni for me, bro, that was a whole other experience, right? So basically, I went to Ruskin College, very empowering courses. They're very trade union centric, civil liberty centric, very kind of ideological, but in an empowering way, right? And so basically it was the whole kind of understanding. So basically coming to uni and realizing, not everywhere is going to teach you like that. Not everywhere is going to try and empower you through education. Some places are going to just make you jump through loops to get an accreditation, right? So perfect example of that, second year of uni, I was doing right to privacy. Instead of, this was when Theresa May just got into power. So you can imagine, right, the Snoopers Charter, the Investigatory Powers Act, that was the piece of legislation that put all of our browser history being put into logs for a year and being able to be sold to private companies, right? That was happening. You know what we were studying? Naomi Campbell coming out of Narcotics Anonymous scandal. Bruv, I was livid.
Wow.
I was like, why are you teaching us this? Like, this has no bearing on our actual lives. Like, this does not impact you and me. This impacts the, big fat cats who make millions. Like, I don't care about that. I care about the stuff that's relevant to the world around us, like to the average person. And yeah.
Wow, yeah. So that was you in second year, and then did it just carry on? Did you sort of develop a kind of hatred towards it, or like taste?
Maybe a bit of cynicism towards the study of law in certain spheres. And I just came to the thought of, you know what, it's just a matter of what I'm going to have to do. Just get my degree and see where I go. Like, if I end up practicing law, I didn't. I ended up teaching for a bit and then was like, nope, I haven't got the time for that. I'm going to go do some... I've run too many creative projects to keep teaching, you know what I mean? I was literally... had no time whatsoever, so...
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
So sounds like you are really integrated within the community, but you're not actually from Portsmouth. So how was that coming to Portsmouth, then getting integrated? Like, how did that whole process happen?
Uni, man. Like, literally came down for uni and basically I found a community, and so through Open Your Mouth mostly. Open Your Mouth is such a community-led, community-driven spirit, and you can see it month by month. So the last event we had, right, in the Wedgwood Room, so big venue, right? It was a seated event, tabled event, but there were no chairs left. It was absolutely rammed. There were people stood at the back. It was crowded. Like, and bro, so literally just seeing that, like, that's what kept me, well, ever since I started Open Your Mouth, seeing that potential for an event that could grow to that kind of magnitude, and seeing the kind of creatives that came out of that. I've seen people come from, like, really first time performers to then later down the line they are like absolutely phenomenal artists. Like, I've seen some incredible spoken word artists grow from first time ever performing, now being confident on stage, now actually like just vibing, and like just seeing that, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And seeing the kind of welcoming atmosphere that Open Your Mouth has kind of generated, because Open Your Mouth it's the most friendly event. Like, it really is. Like, and yeah, obviously being an open mic night, you get a variety of characters, right? There have been instances where there was this one time, right? There was a stand-up comedian who thought they were being funny, and I was absolutely livid at them. So you know, word of mouth, right? You know, kids. He's a incredible spoken word rapper. Well, more hip hop rapper, but you know what I mean. He does a lot of poetic stuff. He really makes a lot of like close to the heart points. There was this one time, right? Obviously, like this is for the record, this doesn't happen regularly. This was one occasion, right? This one comedian just started taking the mick after, like literally the set after him, and I was like, look, if you're doing that again, I'm sorry, you're not getting back on this stage, because this is not that kind of place. This is a place where we hear people, and if they've got something heartfelt to say, you respect that. You do not make fun of that after the fact. And literally, as I say, this is a very rare occurrence. We had that on one occasion, and it was dealt with. And I basically said to them, look, if you do that again, you're not getting on the stage again. I'm sorry, but we want to foster a wholesome environment, or at least, to a point, wholesome environment where people can feel safe to perform and supported. And literally, by and large, the majority of the people that we have on stage, and the majority of audience, they all are all there for just the spirit of performance and just supporting the local scene.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting from that, there's no particular structure. There's no like guidelines, if you will.
So the only guideline I'll say for Open Your Mouth, you have 10-minute slots. You are not allowed to say anything hateful, but by hateful I mean like homophobic, racist, sexist. It's something that would target a specific group of individuals or make someone feel unwelcome in that space. Because at the end of the day, we want to foster a positive environment where artists can come, network, and feel like a part of something, right? Feel part of a community. We just don't stand for anything that can potentially be hateful or perceived as derogatory.
Yeah.
No,
that's
that's the main guideline that we have.
Okay, and then that's it, really.
So
free reign.
Literally, we've had the most diverse range of performers. I mean, so Open Your Mouth currently, because of where we're currently situated, we have, so in the kind of mixing pots of a performance, you'll have a poet, one act, a couple of acts later, a whole rock band. Literally just there on that stage, because we have being in the Wedgwood Rooms, it's so valuable, right? And we have an incredible sound man, Steve Elkins. He's absolute powerhouse of an individual, always so supportive for the event, always dives in, and because of that character and the venue that we have, we can support such a diverse range of performance. And I don't obviously I don't need to toot my own trumpet too much, but I don't think I've ever seen a night where you can see poetry and rock bands in the same event. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just a whole other thing,
Okay. I mean, that whole inclusive nature there, obviously there's a community that sort of embrace it.
Yeah.
But have you ever had sort of backlash or, resistance from a community or a venue or a particular individual?
Not so much resistance as such. I mean, being Portsmouth, there have been like one or two occasions where we had a racist member of the crowd who wasn't too receptive of some racially relevant poetry that was being performed. But we have security at the Wedgwood Rooms, and they are an incredible team that handle these situations perfectly. We as soon as we see those kind of situations crop up, wherever there is any kind of conflict that we can spot, we notify the security and they handle it perfectly. It's not something that happens. Well, for one, it's not something that happens like at all frequently. It's happened, as I say, not even a handful of times. We've been running for 9 years, right? So, and to say we've had I think I can count the number of instances we've had on one hand.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you said there, being Portsmouth. What do you mean by that?
It's a very Navy city, right? So it kind of breeds that kind of nationalistic ideology, and you see a lot of nationalism in Portsmouth. I mean, you see a lot of counter that as well. I mean, if you look at the recent stuff that we've seen on Guildhall Square, for lack of a better term, the Portsmouth faction of the EDL, or whatever you want to call them, and the counter protests. The counter protests are much larger, yes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't cut away the fact that there is a lot of xenophobic ideology within Portsmouth, and there is an attitude from certain kind of demographics within this city that are very Queen and Country, Rule Britannia, and all this. And reading Daily Mail or whatever you want to call whatever kind of tabloid that feeds them this stuff. And that's it's just the nature of living in a navy city. In my opinion, because at the end of the day, navy kind of attitudes breed this idea of Britain is great, and doesn't, like, how many times have I had to have a conversation with someone and talking about, so back when the whole statues thing was going on a few years ago, the whole
bringing them down,
talking to them about Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
None of them knew that Winston Churchill had concentration camps in Kenya, made a famine in India. They had no clue. They were like, nah, he's a hero. Like, mate, he only had half the body count of Hitler.
Fair enough. No, it makes sense. Fair enough. So you say that 9 years has been running.
Yes.
And obviously being Portsmouth, have you seen a sort of change in the community of Portsmouth being more accepting in a way?
I think, yeah, there has been. I mean, back in the day, there used to be a lot of, active, like, xenophobic activism, right? There was an organisation called Pie and Mash, I suppose you're familiar with. So, years ago, in 2015, there was that banner over the council balcony saying Portsmouth says no to refugees. In 2015. Really? Yeah, did you not? No, were you not here for that? No. There was a whole, obviously there was a counter demo, but it was thin in numbers back then. So Pie and Mash, they used to, do bits in Portsmouth, and it was actually quite daunting, seeing that. But yeah, no, you see a lot less of that these days, which is kind of encouraging, right? And that's something that's quite just nice to see, I guess, that there's not as much hateful activity within the community. I mean, it's not to say that there is none, because to be fair, anywhere you go, there's going to be some sort of counter ideology, right? There's going to be some sort of clash between ideologies within people, within a population that is tightly packed, right? But yeah, just the nature of living in a city, I guess.
Yeah, living in general, I guess. Okay, so cool. Is it Open Your Mouth Trash Arts, or
so it's Open Your Mouth is, so it's the actual organisation name is Trash Arts Open Your Mouth.
Okay,
but we go by the name of Open Your Mouth standalone, but we are recognised as under the umbrella company of Trash Arts.
I see.
Right, so it's open. So on socials, you'll see us as Open Your Mouth by Trash Arts.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's who he is.
No, I get it. So obviously, people, when they look at social media, when they see the events, they just see the performance. They see the nice stuff. They see the lovely stuff, if you will.
Yeah.
But the behind the scenes, that's where that's where it all goes on, I believe. So how is it, or how has it been sort of building that and working behind the scenes?
It's been inspiring, it has, because working behind the scenes, so we do big community events once a year, we do monthly open mic nights, and I think the behind the scenes things that we kind of encounter, and the kind of considerations we have is what kind of engagement do we have at each junction, right? And just seeing, and that's the main thing that happens behind the scenes currently. I mean, sure, we also do organisation for the big community event, but that's a periodic thing. It's not like an ongoing, all the time we're doing this kind of thing.
Okay.
So behind the scenes currently, aside from the community event, it's just the monthly open mic nights, and that's mostly. So it's I book them in with the Wedgwood Rooms. I have my partner running. So I have my partner running the socials. Big up Emmy Jane Christie, know, and so it's a fairly tight knit operation. The monthly event. It's obviously the community event requires a lot more people. We have everyone on board. Organising, we have Majid Dana, an incredible powerhouse of a human being. We have Sam and Jackson, and Simon of Trash Arts, and together we form Open Your Mouth and do the bits.
It's cool. That's the team.
Yeah,
and that's what goes behind the scenes. Okay, so it's been running for 9 years.
Yes.
How was it in the early days though? Was it a few people? Because I'm interested in this. I always love the grind.
To begin with, I mean, I was actually quite impressed by the first night. The first night I went to as a audience member, right, and a performer. But I just rocked up and was like, yeah, this is actually it was pretty packed out. But you know, with any kind of thing that it's a free event, right? So we don't charge anything. But with the nature of that, that means that sometimes you're going to have really packed out events. Sometimes you might have a slightly thinner crowd. It varies month to month depending on what people are up to and, you know, what the season is, if it's raining. You know, but to be fair, like the past 3 months have been incredible. So the past 3 months, we've had a queue on door consecutively. Literally, to get in, right? But, you know, over the years, I think... especially when I became host, again, not to shoot my own trumpet too much, but like, you know, I obviously was a student at the time, and I had a lot of connections within the student population, you know, running for elections and stuff, and people know vote for O, right? I still get stopped in, like, I literally got stopped in the office where I work. A guy comes up to me and goes, "No, wait a minute, bro, I just literally caught you in the corner of my eye. Are you voting for O?" Literally, to this day, it's the weirdest thing.
Wow.
It's the weirdest thing.
It carries on.
Literally, that was uni viral. Yeah. But yeah, no. So obviously, I think having a student as the host and having a student as as a core part of the event really helped with a lot of the outreach of that as a platform, because obviously, you know, students form a massive part of the city. Yeah. Right. Like there are 27,000. Well, there were 27,000 a few years ago. It's probably even grown now. I don't even know what the numbers are currently, but a few years ago it was 27,000 students within Portsmouth.
That's a lot.
You know, and that's a massive pool. Obviously, you're not going to get 27,000 people at an event, but you know, it's a big pool of people to reach out to, and I think it's really worked in terms of that. And I think over the years, I think having that outreach to begin with, and then just continuing, you know, by word of mouth, by socials, by online outreach of various forms, it's just
grown,
really blossomed.
That's really interesting though, because you did touch there 27,000. We don't know what the figure is right now, but the last 3 months haven't been active student time.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy. Yeah. Why do you think? I mean, obviously, it's probably a brand. It's actually like a name now, right? So, okay, on that. So it's a name now. You're Portsmouth based? Only Portsmouth?
So we only run events in Portsmouth currently. We've done like the odd no. Have we done any pop-ups out of city? I don't think we actually have. We've been talking about it for years, about like, you know, doing pop-ups at festivals, doing bits, but you know, these are just like conversations that haven't actually materialized. Because you know, it takes a lot of work, you know, and at the end of the day, that kind of thing requires like serious organization, right? We've just kept it going under the monthly name, and like literally, I think the Wedgwood Rooms is a massive thing to pay homage to and pay thanks to, because they have really supported us through all this, and they've given us access to an incredible space, and I think their assistance in promoting it as such a community hub in Portsmouth has really just pushed us even further and given us the outreach that we have currently.
Okay. So, but then I'm seeing from that, is it a Portsmouth brand? Because you've had the chats, but long term, do you see it branching out?
I mean, it would be nice to be able to do things further afoot, but I think with the nature of an open mic, right? I mean, sure, we are currently just an open mic, and we do yearly booked events, which are like community events. But like, I think if we were to do a project that were out of city, for one, we'd have to have the backing of a venue. We'd have to have the support of the promotion from that venue as well. It would just be, you know, in terms of branching out, it would be a great thing to do, and we've you know, considered it on multiple occasions, but we haven't actually. I think until we've got a representative within a different city that is like, yes, I fully buy into what you're about. I want to back it. Let's do Open Your Mouth here. Until we have that, it's, you know, it's a matter of, you know, we don't want to do an event in the city that don't know us, and then it doesn't quite go as far as we want it to go, or where it could potentially, you know what I mean? Like, it's a big gamble,
Makes sense.
doing cross city stuff, but yeah, it's not off the cards at all. Like, Open Your Mouth is as an organisation. So as a CIC, we've only been a CIC for what, 4 years?
Wow.
4 years. Like, we've been running monthly events since 2015, but we've only been like a registered, community interest company for 4 years.
Wow.
You know?
What was that? What ignited that move?
So COVID.
Yeah.
COVID, we wanted to establish our name as a solid, concrete thing. And we wanted to be recognised also by in terms of working with the council and stuff. And big up to Steve Pitt, he's been very supportive of us.
Good lad.
He's incredible. So yeah, he's been very supportive of us forming as a CIC, and like, when we have community events, he's always there supporting, and yeah, got a lot to thank him for.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Yeah.
And okay, so community events. Obviously, it's an open mic event monthly.
Yes.
What goes into this community event?
So the community event, it's literally an open mic night. We don't do sign-up sheets. We literally have open door, free event. Whoever comes in. You don't sign on to a sheet. You raise your hand when you're ready to go up. And the thing we like about that is it removes the pressure, right? When you feel moved, and some people who may have rocked up for the first time, not even comfortable necessarily performing to a crowd of people, but then they're like, wait a minute, this is actually a really like supportive environment. I want to raise my hand and get up. I feel inspired to. And just seeing that kind of, that is really, that's basically how the event runs. It's just really nice to see, because from that you see creatives who have never performed before blossom through it. Like, month after month they come with something new, with a new confidence, with a new style, with a new form, and it's
I'm interested in that as well. So say if, for example, we get an individual to go on stage and, let's say that they don't have the confidence yet to actually perform, and they sort of, not crumble, but they do stutter and they can't perform.
There have been instances like that. So there have been instances. I'm not going to name any names just because I don't want to. Don't want them to feel atted or anything.
No.
But there have been instances where we've had people who, like, especially younger people who have not been so confident on stage. They still perform beautifully and really, like, there's some incredible talent. But there have been instances where they got a bit of stage fright in the moment. They're like, okay, I need to take a minute. And then we call a little couple of minutes, put some music on, let the crowd kind of chat and stuff. And then we're like, they're ready to go back on. Everyone cheers them on. And this is what I mean about it being such a welcoming environment. Everyone's there cheering you on. It's not about them expecting anything from you. They're expecting you to have fun on stage. That's what they're about. And just see, like, literally, it's such a supportive kind of platform in that way. Yeah.
No, I get that. Because that was interesting to me, because to get stage fright in front of the crowd, like, I'd probably get stage fright if I was going to lay down some bars that no one's ever heard before. You know what I mean?
No, I saw this young singer-songwriter like performing on stage, and she got a bit teary in the moment because she messed up on the guitar, and she was like, okay, I need to take a breath, and we were like, okay, take a breath. Then the crowd were literally like cheering her on as she was going off stage. And as she came back on, there was raucous applause. Like, the crowd went wild. Like, and that's what I mean. The support in that room is just, it really inspires me. It does. And that's what makes the monthly events, to me, worth it.
No, I get that. No, can you imagine in an alternate universe if it wasn't supportive? Would you? I don't know. Just the character you are, I feel like you would have fought for a place for Open Your Mouth. I feel like that. But okay, we're gonna go on to a new topic. So cool. So that's the monthly events. That's Trash Arts.
Yeah. Trash Arts Open Your Mouth.
Trash Arts Open Your Mouth.
Yeah.
So what is, or who are Trash Arts then?
So Trash Arts are a separate film company. I say separate, so there's a lot of overlap between the two.
Yeah.
So Trash Arts predominantly are a horror film company. They do a lot of like independent horror in Portsmouth. And they've been at film festivals. They're relevant within the genre. You know what I mean? And like the kind of audience that is entangled with that. So Trash Arts started years before Open Your Mouth did. But Open Your Mouth was kind of generated as an event platform to kind of big up some of what Trash Arts do, and to kind of give them a bit more of a like active presence in the community. And yeah, just basically they make horror films, and yeah,
Okay.
all sorts of stuff.
So with that then, so with Open Your Mouth, for someone who obviously is like, it's cringe, I'd never do something like that, because you do get those people,
Yeah.
right? What would you say the value in expressing yourself, attending one of these events, getting on stage is?
I'd say you will not truly be able to appreciate the value unless you actually see it firsthand. I think the value in it is literally seeing the development of community, the spirit of community in an event, right? And see that there are people around you that are willing to cheer you on, and they want to hear what you have to say. And there's so much power in that. I think, and just seeing a group of people come together and just celebrate the art of expression, the art of performance, and just getting up and just being real.
Yeah.
And I think that's the, and as I say, I know again that may sound cringe to some people, but that's why I say you can't truly appreciate what is to be appreciated at this event unless you actually experience it yourself.
Yeah, so the monthly event, solid.
Yeah.
So that's the value. I mean, is there an age cutoff? Is there?
We've had people. So we've had a young drummer of 9 years old, who was grade 8 at the drums. Incredible talent. We've got a young lad by the name of Owen who performs with his dad and his family friend as a little rock band. They are sublime. They go by the name of OB3. Check them out on all socials. Literally, so there's no lower age limit. We've had local poet Pete McIver, who's I don't want to say elderly man, but like he's a little bit older, bit of an old lad. And yeah, so it's the most diverse platform you'll ever see. You've got people from first ever creating to seasoned creatives and yeah,
Wow.
back and forth. And yeah, so we've just had just the most diverse kind of range you can imagine.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So cool. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
I think the one thing that is important, just for any of you viewers, in case they are interested in bringing so younger people coming along, the restriction is if they're under 14, they have to be accompanied by at least one parent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
that's the only restriction, because at the end of the day, we're in a licensed venue. They're serving alcohol, So
Yeah. No, but gladly. I mean, luckily you've got the Wedgwood rooms.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, especially that Albert Road area.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of supportive venues.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had like a venue that didn't support you?
I mean, not while it was our venue. So I mean, but when we were at the Loft, when it changed hands, then they started talking about money and stuff, and that was money that we didn't have. Us being a free event, so they were talking about money, and we were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, if you're gonna want more money from us, we can't do that. We don't have the resources." So we had to move venues, and luckily the next venue on the list was Wedgwood Rooms.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, because there's this. Well, it's apparent. It's a fact that venues are decreasing. In Portsmouth in general, I think on Albert Road, I can't remember, don't quote me, but I don't know how many bars there were, but there were over 100 bars because it's a naval city, right?
Yeah.
Over the past 9 years since you've been running, would you say there's been a decrease in live venues?
I mean, yes and no, because I think in Portsmouth, like live venues have been fairly apparent. I mean, I haven't. I mean, maybe in certain like bars and stuff have gone under, but the main ones that have been like relevant to Portsmouth as a kind of like as a household name almost for Portsmouth, those seem to have survived the test of time, right? That's not to undercut the fact that sure there have been struggles for a lot of businesses and companies within the city, but within the whole country, within the world, right? Due to COVID and the various kind of financial impacts that have come from Brexit and various things, right? That's not to downplay that, but I think a lot of venues, whilst they have been struggling, have really pushed through, and it just shows, that it's a really powerful thing, I guess. Yeah,
honestly. And someone who's on the inside of the whole scene, how would you say there's an essence of like the death of the nightclub? Would you say there's a big rise of the alternative scene in comparison?
I suppose so. That I think to be able to say that, I'd have to be on the inside of the nightclub. And it's been a while since I've been out clubbing. To be fair, I just don't have time with the events that I run. To be honest, I think death of the nightclub. To be able to have insight of that, you need to be inside the nightclub scene to really kind of gauge that. I mean, I do see a very big kind of proliferation in events popping up around the city and stuff that are not nightclub centric, that are more, sit down, have a chat, see some performance. I've seen a lot more of that grow up around the city, but that obviously I can't really comment on the nightclub scene in relation to that.
No.
No, that's just my only response to that. You know what I'm saying?
It's a moment of interest. I was just okay, so that is that. So you do open mic events. You do all of this. Do you plan ahead? Is it like a roundtable meeting where you plan ahead?
As in
for the progression and the sort of growth of.
So I think currently we're at we do have a lot of conversations about what we'd like to do at some point in the future, kind of thing. I don't think we're at the stage with infrastructure and stuff to be able to make far ahead plans. I think we're still currently growing our platform to the point where we can, envisage those kinds of things and like longevity of projects that go beyond just, okay, this is the goal, let's reach that goal, and that's that project, right? But who knows? Eventually, we'd like to. Growth is the whole point of doing anything, right? And it'd just be nice to see that develop over time.
Interesting. Okay, so that kind of brings us to a close-ish. So yeah, where do you see it then? Where do you see it going, or how do you see it growing?
I just see more and more people getting more involved in the creative scene, networking, basically having a space to come together, and also to collaborate.
Yeah.
Because so many people meet at our events. Like we had a youth band that came together, literally from having met at our event. Like the 9-year-old drummer that I told you about met a 13-year-old guitarist. They formed a band. Literally, like it's that level of that to me is my current end goal, right? Provide a space for people to come together, meet each other, create, potentially collaborate, and just have an opportunity to develop.
Interesting. No, that's strong, man.
Yeah.
And okay, cool. So the mic is yours, if you will. The floor is yours. What would you like to tell the public? What would you like
is this my that camera?
This is all that moment.
So I one thing I will say. Wait, should I say it to you or should I say it to the camera?
You could go wherever you want. You could say it to the
camera. I think I'm going to have to go to that camera. Well, I'm not going to go for that camera because I was looking at it. So one thing I will say, guys, do come check out Open Your Mouth. It's an incredible community of creatives, and I genuinely think that if you have any kind of creative ventures, be it you like to sing in your bedroom into a hairbrush, but you got some backing tracks, come do it into a microphone on the Open Your Mouth stage. If you like to write a few poems here and there, come share them with us at the Open Your Mouth, because we love just sharing that platform, and it'll just be incredible to have you on stage. And give us a shout. Follow all socials, open.ya.mouth. That's Y-A, not your. Open ya mouth. On all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, That's not all platforms, but those are the two that we're on.
All right, amazing, Omar, man. It's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me.
No, man, it's good, and I'm excited to see what comes up next.
Yeah, exciting times are coming, man. Exciting times are coming.
Love to hear it.
All right, so part 2.
Let's go.
Here we are. Do you think open mic events are better for the venue or the artist?
Open mic events are better for the venue or the artist? It depends, isn't it? Because the thing is the artists obviously always get stuff out there. Because the thing is it means they get to perform, whether they're new artists, whether they're just... Because a lot of open mic for bands and that, they do it for the setup to go perform somewhere else, right? The thing is that if it's a continuous thing, or... No, it doesn't even have to be continuous. It can do a lot for the venue. It's a hard question, man. I could be sitting here for hours and actually wanting to beat this one.
Do you think open mic events are better for the venue or the artist?
Both. Well, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, the venue it will draw people in.
Yeah,
Yeah, so get people into the venue and
open
then
mic
get the
gets
person
people
seen.
So it works both ways, doesn't it?
I actually think it's good for the artist. Like me being an artist myself, like obviously I've just came to Portsmouth. I've been here for a year now. Do you know what I mean? So like big up, obviously word of mouth. They found me early when I touched down. So they've given a load more artists platforms. So I do agree it's more better for the artist. It's also good for the premises as well. So
Artist or the venue?
I mean, if it's drawing in new people for the venue, which are struggling at the moment, small venues are really struggling, then I think it's for both. I think 50-50, I think it's shared.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And the same or?
Yeah, I would say the same. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I think it's two-way for both ways, because the artists, they get a chance to be on the stage. They could be any level, gives them opportunity to actually come out, and if they're amazing and if they actually can do the good job, that could be that break they're waiting for, career change. For the venue, if they're a small venue, that could be a way for them to actually support the talent. So I think it's not so much for the venue to take away from the talent, right? Come down, free, we don't even pay you, but actually support them. It's like, we've got the stage, we've got the lights, we've got the music, we give you drinks, all right? If you're up for that sort of exchange, then I think it's good. It's a value exchange.
It's better for the artist or the venue?
Oh, that is a great question. I think it's a bit of both, actually. I think venues definitely need to give back to communities by offering their facilities to the public for upcoming artists, musicians, poets, whatever it is, something creative, a venue needs to be provided. If you have a thriving open mic, it's great for the venue because they get the custom, they make the revenue. But sometimes, if there's so many open mics, you're not going to go to every single one. There might be one that's the best one, so everyone goes to that, and then you might start a new one and you only get 3 people. And then the venue are less likely to keep booking you, or if you're getting paid for it, they might not want to pay you as much. So I think for venues, it's important for them to provide, and it can bring in great custom for them and puts them on the map. For artists, musicians, I think it's a perfect platform to go and try out new material. I do it myself. If I've got a track or a set list that I'm working on for like festival season, I'll go take it to a couple of open mics to get that feedback, to practice it, to learn what works, to learn what doesn't work. Do I need to change the order? Because you can do all this prep in your bedroom or in your rehearsal space, but being in front of a crowd is completely different. So yeah, it's super vital, super important, and I would recommend it to everyone, whoever's starting up, or even if you're established, go out there to test new material.
Yeah. So that was the question. So thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what was said. At the end of the day, it is important that I think it does benefit both, because at the end of the day, you wouldn't have, as a venue, you wouldn't put on open mic nights if it wasn't going to benefit the business. Because at the end of the day, a venue is a business, right? Mm-hmm. They need to benefit in some way, be that through visibility of supporting communities, or be that financial as well. And again, with like big open mic nights, ones that ones that have a lot of positive attendance and kind of consistently, that benefits the venue massively. Obviously, in terms of the artist, I think it's a very important that as an open mic night that you do benefit the artist in some way. And I think one of the most important benefits to artists at open mic nights is having that kind of networking space, right?
Interesting.
And also a space for artists to kind of develop themselves, right? And like a safe kind of environment where they can test new things and be basically try out different things about how they want to present themselves as an artist, right? What kind of thing they want to exert.
So would you say it's sort of a venue or a platform to actually experiment more than showcase your skills, or how?
Sorry?
So would you say it's more of an environment where you can experiment with new material, or would you say it's a place where you can actually showcase your talent?
I think it's both, because it depends what stage you are in your kind of artist journey, right? If you're a seasoned artist and seasoned performer, if you've been doing bits for time, then that is what you get out of it, right? If you're just starting, it depends where you are in your artist journey. Depends what you get out of each individual appearance. That's what I think.
No, it's valid. And okay, my final question really is, with venues itself, you don't have to ask this, but do you actually have to pay to be there, or is it they're doing it for their community reasons?
So again, it would depend on the venue, right? Some venues are going to be there supporting the cause of the event, right? Some venues are going to be like, look, we don't have the resource. It depends on what resources they have as to whether they're going to provide that space for you in that way. For us, it's we've been lucky in that each venue that we've had agreements with, and oftentimes it's free. It does very much depend on which venue we work with, and whether we get a free venue or whether we have to pay for the space.
No, word. And any closing thoughts? Anything we want to end on?
Closing thoughts? I think support the local scene. That's what it's about, man. You just got to pick up the local scene and invest in the people around you.
All right, well, that brings us to a nice close. And
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Again, thanks for being a guest.
Thank you for having me, man.
And
really appreciate it.
No, respect. And man, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next.
Exciting times, bro.
A few days, bro.
Yes.